My guest today has danced across continents, lived between cultures, and found something most of us spend a lifetime right in the middle of movement. Welcome, Gilles, and a very good morning to you.
Good morning, Debjani. Very happy to be here.
Yeah, and so lovely to see you. Thank you so much for giving your time to hear. Yeah. Gilles, uh, before we get into the depth of your journey, I would like to ask, when someone asks you at the dinner party, what do you do? Then what do you say?
So it depends a bit on the people present because yes, as you know, I do many things. So the most used kind of generic expression will be I'm into performing and healing arts.
Yeah. Oh, I love that. And it's so, especially these days, people are really looking forward to this what experience, the performing arts as well as healing arts in today's time. And
Yes.
there's so much underneath what you said. Yeah. So let's move ahead. Gilles, dance was always there for you, but so was a deep inner searching. When did you realize those two things were actually the same thing?
Very good question. So it took time in the sense that, of course, when I was a child, I had all these questions I was asking my mother also was telling me, and I also remember that in a very young age, I would ask questions about what is life, who is God, and she
Mhm.
had no answers because my parents were not really religious. So I also asked to go to church because at that point of time I was living in a small village of south of France. So the only sacred space was the church. So I asked to go to
Mm.
church. I became one of the choir boys assisting the priest because I wanted to be into a space where there were rituals, there was the sense of sacredness, but it was more, I realized later, it was more actually gestures that I was not really aware of the essence of spirituality or sacredness. Dance at the beginning was more also about, I think, expressing myself, yes, very soon. In a sense, it was never steps as such or technique because actually I was very shy and I was dancing in my bedroom, locked away because I wanted to dance for myself. I was a bit afraid of dancing for my parents, but I'd say it's maybe in my mid 20s that
Mm.
realized that I'd read the Upanishads. I just finished my PhD. Oh, I was no, I was like about to start my PhD, sorry, and then I had all these questions about life, and my PhD was about contemporary Brahmin identity. So I was reading a lot of sacred text, and dance, yes, dance had started moving from a space of just entertainment to a space of expressing myself. And yes, from my mid 20s and until today, it's more about, I feel that when I ask these two questions, what is dance and who am I? Actually, as you said, I kind of find this similar answers. Like who am I brings me into the layers of myself, going deeper and deeper into what I am not first. And dance also, I've done a lot of work on where we are dancing from, because people feel that dance maybe is just a matter of the body, but it's not true. We can dance from the body, from the breath, from the ego. I call modern jazz the ego dance because it's all about showing yourself. But there are also so many
Mm.
layers. You can dance from memory. You can dance from a color. So yes, I'd say mid 20s, late 20s. These two streams of my life converged.
What concepts? Gilles, dance from your memory and dance from your color.
Yes.
Could you say a bit more about this?
Well,
Basic.
yes. So as I developed my this double connection of spirituality and movement. I went
Mm.
into research about how do we move and how does one move. Even it's a question that I comes to me very often when I'm about to start a new project. I feel as if I don't know anything. And I think it's a very good space. Maybe if your logical mind feels the opposite, but when you're in the space of I don't know, then you're ready to start afresh and
Mm.
don't focus on what you've learned, but you're ready to learn in the moment and explore from a
Mm.
different angle or a different perspective. So as I was exploring movement and how does one move, how then I realized actually that yes, for example, I I started actually developing a workshop around this search called What is Dance that I've used not only with dancers, but with actors, with also singers to look at more than dance, actually a creative process. How does one create and where these creative energies are coming from? So it's like a cooking class. So I speak about ingredients. I said that if your final product is, for example, a dance performance or a theater performance or a concert as a singer or even as a musician, you first have to look at the ingredients that you have. So the first ingredient is form. We have form, and we can create form. Like for example, one of the first exercise I do with the participants is when you visualize that you are a square or a cube and you start moving,
Mm.
or if you visualize that you are a circle or a sphere, uh, the movements are going to be different, and also the thoughts are going to be different, and your entire perception of yourself will be different. And then I keep on adding ingredients like that. After form, I add rhythm, and I had a sense of a concept or an idea, and I use
Mm.
what's called action verbs, to fall, to punch, to slash, and all these actions then give different textures to your movement. So I realized actually
Mm.
that with the participants, I asked them first to dance just from the body, create form, and then rhythm will come. So it's a kind of a dialogue of time and space. We're creating space with the body, and we're also using rhythm as an expression of time. So time and space together. But it's like, as I said, it's like a cooking class. So it's like if you're cooking khichdi just with dal and chawal, just with your
Mm.
rice and your dal, but there's no masala. So dance is much more refined than just form and rhythm. So then we add and we can feel that we know that I love color because I also paint and I visualize a lot. So I've done, for example, a solo called The Color White, which was about all that my mind and my memory and my experiences will associate with the color white. So
Mm.
color for me is a very it's a very subtle element, but I've done a lot of
Mm.
work even with Indian classical dancers. My first actually when I created my dance company in 2007, I think, in Step. The first show was called Colors. It was based on seven dancers, including me, that I had chosen according to their relationship with the color. And for 3 months, we just improvised. And so the one girl was working on red every day and improvising on and we were writing and we were painting and we were also letting all these energies guide us into our own energy system. So dancing from a color is, of course, connecting also to your chakras,
Mm.
vibration. Um,
Yes.
Dancing from memory is also, I've done a lot of work with text, for example, thinking of a memory, writing the memory as a text, and then dancing the text. And then it's beautiful because sometimes healing happens because then you are revisiting that space, but from a
Mm.
space of creativity. Suddenly you look at that memory from a different space. So yeah, so that's all that I've been doing for more than 20 years in India and abroad.
Oh, amazing, amazing, really amazing.
Thank you.
Oh. When did the spiritual awakening actually hit? So, was it a moment, a person, or a practice?
I'd say it's more about a practice and an intent. an intent of going deeper and deeper into these questions. I had the great honor and luck to meet many masters during my life, also because I think that's what people told me also, and I realized that also, like, sometimes you have to also take credit for maybe ask yourself the right questions or bringing your life in the right direction. So I
Mm,
realized life will bring what you are after. If you're just after
mm,
fame and money and this and business, so your life will develop like that. But if you have other questions, the universe also will bring that as well. So I had this question about, as I said, as a child, who is God? What is God? And when I was 22 in France, I started reading the Upanishads,
mm,
translated in French and in English, and I really felt a very strong connection within me, as if I was looking for that. And then later on, I realized that this concept of that everything is energy, that your atma, your personal soul, and the entire universe are made of the same energy. Something that now, quantum physics say also that everything is energy. And a lot of
mm,
scientists in the West have said that actually this truth has been written in the Upanishads, has been there for ever and ever. So that sense of energy, and also for me going deeper and deeper into understanding myself, like these layers. I think I was a very sensitive child, so emotion
mm,
was a very important aspect of my life. And also mainly I think my first question also as a child was about, also I was asking my parents about choice. What is choice? How does one
mm,
chooses? If I go right, I was telling them, then there's an entire aspect of my life that I leave behind. I don't know what's there on the left because I'm turning right. So how that because and I was feeling also there are repercussions of this choice. If I'm turning right, I don't know what could have happened on my left. And then of course then the concepts of free will and destiny crossed my way.
mm,
It was more about that understanding that yes, the importance of choice, I think, and also then I think a very important moment in my life where maybe I'll say early 30s, where one of my gurus said something about when you are ready to align your free will with divine will, there's a sense of freedom. And that's
mm.
something that really, the
Yeah,
sense of surrender that I felt was
yeah,
quite magical for me.
yes. Actually, I'm also very spiritual, and I can actually understand how when you're aligning yourself, and the freedom is that is the awareness. When you feel the freedom, is that awareness?
Freedom is to be, to be able to respond to life
Hmm.
in the moment without any attachment or preconceived notions led by your what's called your patterns or your conditioned responses. Freedom for me is about, yes, it's about no situation should take you out of your center. No situation should, so the sense of, oh, I love this or I hate this, no, this very
Hmm.
extreme kind of thing, then and then
Extreme.
suddenly you go into that. So finding maybe a middle path where you are in a kind of I'll say neutral benevolence, where you are ready
Hmm.
to accept people as they are, accept life as it is, being able to, and therefore I think a lot of work on your own energy system, because we have
Hmm.
a lot of burden from this life and other lives where we see things in a particular way. And I feel for me, spiritual practice is first about cleaning, first about letting go of all these um, specific ways and conditioned ways of looking at things and people and life.
That's so. So it connects with the choice.
Yes,
What is
yes,
choice? Yeah,
yes, yes.
wonderful. Um, so was there a dark or a lost period before the clarity came to you?
So I would say my entire journey has been a journey of darkness and light.
Mm.
Been a lot of, and I think like there was one master that I'm in touch with called Rita Ma, who is in Surat in Gujarat, who really helped me to look at. Actually, she told me even like, don't focus only on light. Look, just zoom out and see that your life is a succession of darkness and light. So even that,
Mm.
almost like the yin yang, that life is a yin yang. Don't think it's only about light. But other masters will say darkness doesn't exist. Darkness is only the absence of light. So it's I would say it's been phases of almost life and death within this one life. Like when now I'm 55 and now when I look back, I feel it's as if I don't recognize the being that was 15 and 25 and 30, as if it was another being, as if I died and was reborn many times, and because I feel very new, very fresh, and so yeah, I feel that I've been able to embrace phases of stillness and reflection, and also the sense of the introspection, sometimes going into facing your fears, and I feel I've become more and more comfortable with it. Like I feel like last year, for example, I was feeling there was a lot of that, and also in the Chinese sign, it was the sign of the snake, and I felt there was a lot of, and even with the people I was working with, a lot of as if life was asking us to face what we call our darkness, our fears, our shortcomings, all that is triggering us. Why? Because only when you do that work will you able to then again be free and be as expansive as possible. I've done a meditation, I think it was yesterday only, with my group, where I was sharing this image that has been coming again and again, saying that we are actually like a castle or like a temple, very vast, very open, lots of space, but we only live in on the first floor. And we don't allow our awareness to go into the attic or even the basement where we keep our secrets locked. And because we keep these energies locked because of shame and guilt and the whole hiding things that you don't want to show the world, then this
Mm.
energy cannot be used for other things, for your creativity, for
Mm.
expanse. So for me, it's more about, I think, darkness are aspects of myself that are hidden at times, even for my, actually for my own good, because I feel that at times it's the protection of my gurus and my guides that keep sometimes some things away from me because maybe I'm not ready to face them. So maybe
Mm.
it's the right time to visit that space, that dark space, to face that fear or let go of that grief. Because even that, sometimes I feel a darker emotion or darker energy also has its own value. Like if you stay with it, like right now, also it's funny because this morning I had a friend of mine call me, and she's also a dancer, and she was saying that there's some unknown fears coming through her body. So I said, don't fight them. Don't try to get rid of them immediately. Even that fear, that anxiety is teaching you something about yourself. So let that fear just give space and allow that
Mm.
energy to show you actually what it is about. Because sometimes maybe it's nothing about the present. Maybe it's something that's has been buried in you since childhood, or as I said, other lives. And allow that energy to be your teacher. Don't be afraid
Mm.
of that darkness. Let it be a moment
Mm.
of reflection and introspection, and allow that
Mm.
energy to teach you something about yourself.
Yeah. Emotions are teachers, yeah. And if emotions are what you feel, they are data, are they information?
Emotions for me are like again very much like colors. I see them very much as currents, like
Mm.
energies in motions, like rivers and currents flowing through me. And
Yeah.
also because I'm a dancer and I as I said, I'm a very emotional. So the sense of being moved, when you say I'm moved,
Mm.
so both being moved, physically moved and also emotionally moved. So and
Yeah.
emotion will move you from one space to the other. So I see them as more as like rivers traversing me, passing through me,
My
and
God.
also the sense of that we sometimes we misunderstand their worth, it's or their value or their role. We're not supposed to hold on to that emotion and stay for months and months with it, with that grief. No, that grief comes and a moment because we need to slow down, and there's something very vulnerable that we have to
Mm,
look at. Maybe cry, definitely cry, be in that moment, and then you feel something, and then you move on slowly, gradually. But what's happening?
mm,
Oh, I'm getting anger, and then I'm judging that anger, and I'm keeping that anger in my body, and then we kind of lose actually the meaning of what an emotion is supposed to be. The emotion is that in that moment, that river just
mm.
coming to help you move in from one space to another. It shouldn't be physical as well as emotional.
It's so deep, actually. It's so deep. Yeah. Mm. So, uh, did I ask you this question? Like, what did India show you about yourself that
No.
France couldn't?
Well, yes, I feel that that for me, India is the highest taskmaster in the sense that every I feel like that like we have chakras in the body, the earth also has chakras. Like every space on earth has a specific role. Like I feel that
Mm,
it's only after coming to India that I understood France, because when you are in a
mm,
culture, actually you can so immersed in it that you don't really see what it is. And that's was part of my actually my PhD when was doing my PhD on identity. Um, there's this theory which is a lot in psychology and also in anthropology about that the connection between identity and otherness, that you define who
mm,
you are by defining who is the other, meaning who is different from
mm,
me. Uh,
mm,
so so it's like that. So it's like so again coming back to the yin yang, the white like opposite values are kind of complementary. That you understand what day is because also you've experienced night. You
right.
understand what fear is because also you've understood love. So
Mm,
in that sense, I realized that France was a country where beauty was very important, external beauty in sense
mm,
of so the arts, dance, and fashion, and the architecture and classicism. Classical meaning everything has to be balanced in harmony, a lot of equilibrium.
mm,
So that sense of and very kind of lot about manners and rituals in the way you speak and you express yourself. So poetry, even language, French language has a lot of rules and it's very connected to the sounds. It's very subtle and very beautiful. So all of that I understood. So I was very grateful to be in France because I was exposed to so much of art. I was always in museums and I was going to see dance performances at a very young age. And I did my training in ballet, jazz, contemporary dance, and even folk dance from south of France. So that was beautiful because I felt that art was very really available and for everyone. But the spiritual search, I
mm,
felt that it was more because I had this question about who am I and what is this life. I think that it was only I think see when you travel, I think we all realize, but sometimes we not in a very deep way. But when you step into India, when you're on this soil, I mean, you have
mm,
something else is happening within you. There's a sense of more than the physical journey to step onto into that country is more like a an inner vibrational journey of because I feel that that and I've seen that like it's like India as such can be so demanding. Like right now, like we are just end of April, it's already 40 plus. I mean, so the heat, the senses, the colors, the
mm,
smells, the crowds.
mm,
So I think there's a French doctor that has written a book and called it even like there's a syndrome where people come from abroad and they come and then for 15 days they kind of lose the plot. Their fuses go
mm,
off and they kind of lose reality because they're overwhelmed by the intensity of information. So in
mm,
that sense, I feel for me, India, the main lesson that India taught me has been flexibility. I think France was very rigid. Everything was in a box, and so
Oh.
to be able to, people call you and tell you, "Oh, can you perform tomorrow? Can you change this?" So be able to. Whereas in France, what a show will be planned 1 year in advance, and this and that. So flexibility in terms also of yes, accepting
Mm.
change, again being in the flow, and I feel what is amazing. I was telling also my friends recently on the phone, some friends from Europe. I was telling them that it's what is amazing is that in India you meet friends for chai and you can speak about past life as if you're speaking about the weather. It's not something. It's not a big deal. Like because we all, I mean, and especially the friends I have in India, all artists are all healers or they are at least spiritual seekers. So yeah, speaking about energy, healing, past life, it's something which is very natural. Well, sometimes in the West, I
Mm.
mean, my friends in the West, of course, different because they are on the path. But most of the time, people will say like, "Oh, something is wrong with that person." So that's,
Mm.
I think, I like to be in a space where I can speak about creativity. Also, what's happening? I feel like creativity in the West has become so cerebral, so much from the head, so much about concepts. Even dance, contemporary dance is a lot about a concept. And I feel India is still in touch with something which is much more organic. For example,
Mm.
the notion of rasa, that you are going
Mm.
through an experience on stage and you're creating the same experience in the audience, and there is that dialogue of energy between the audience and the performer that I really love. I feel for me it's a very sacred organic space that I was looking for. So that's why I'm here because I feel very much at home. My soul feels at home in India.
Wonderful. It's extremely interesting. Mm. Yeah. How did your dancing literally change after the awakening? And what's different in your body or your presence on stage?
So very, very different. So to continue from what I was saying about in the West dancing from your head, like for example, I
Mm.
realized that as a ballet and contemporary dancer, most of the time the the face was not used because the body speaks. Whereas
Mm.
in Asian art forms, a lot of work on abhinaya of the face, also expressing a mood,
Mm.
so almost more like a theater. In the West, an actor will use his face, but a dancer, not so much. So for me, I realized that there was a block in my throat that I was not allowing the energy to flow into my face. So when I performed in between, when I performed so it was very funny because when I would perform in the West, people would say it looks a bit Western, but it feels very Asian because I would use my fingers and there was a lot of kinds of, even if it was abstract, to telling a story or using emotion as a way to communicate. And when I will dance in India, people will say, yes, it looks the line and the forms can look Western, but there's a sense of familiarity. So it was again feeling that it's neither here nor there, which is also a feel I think a story of my life to be in between and enjoy this space of in between because it's so rich. Because I've done so much
Mm.
work on. I mean, in the 1990s, there was that very trendy term of fusion that that
Mm.
a Western dancer will dance with the Kuchipudi dancer and a Kathak dancer will dance with the flamenco dancer. So it's still there, but it was very, very, very popular in the 90s. So I've done a lot of work like that. But for me, so it's also about what we were speaking about at the beginning, the sense of where I'm dancing from. So to when you allow, so even in the workshop, the last phase is about I am not dancing. I allow dance to happen through me, meaning I'm giving
Mm.
my body to energies and I allow
Mm.
energies to express themselves through the body. I don't control the
Mm.
body. I don't
Mm.
control how my dance is looking, but
Mm.
I focus on how I am feeling. For example, if I'm channeling a color, if I'm channeling the white color, so it'll be like a waterfall flowing through my body. I keep my eyes closed, and then suddenly the body on its own starts moving. But I'm not trying to create a
Mm.
form. I just allow the energy to guide me. So the sense of surrender That
Surrender.
is the main thing which has been the key transition of
Yeah.
allowing my spiritual awakening to translate into my dance expression.
I was just remembering because you brought this word surrender much before, like freedom is surrender. Yeah.
Yes.
Um, just tell me, Gilles, for someone listening who is in the middle of their own messy transition, what do you want them to know?
Um, First, that it's okay not to be okay. That
Mm,
a transition, as I said, is again like an in-between space.
mm,
And this in-between space is very rich. So also what we spoke about, that to allow yourself to be as comfortable as possible with discomfort. So there's
mm,
comfort, there's confusion. At the same time, you're not
mm,
trying to solve that or change that or get rid of that.
mm,
You
mm,
understand that the transition in itself is a space of, it's almost, I would say, like a pregnancy. When a woman is pregnant, or lots of things are happening in the body, and maybe she'll vomit and she'll feel this. But you don't think, oh, I want to get rid of it. You know, it's a phase of a transition because a new life is going to emerge the
mm,
same way. Can you look at this transition, this messy transition, as maybe a space where it's a time where a new you is about to emerge. So allow that time, give it time,
mm,
space. Like we also say, the butterfly before becoming the butterfly has to be in the cocoon and go through a very, very kind of challenging transformation.
mm,
You need time, or it's like the seed planted in the darkness of the earth. Needs time to be
mm.
nurtured, to give water, to go through that.
Yeah.
And you feel, oh, there's no, I cannot see the light. But it's only because that seed takes time, and then only it can emerge.
Mm,
So look at transitions as phases of richness and phases of, don't be
mm,
afraid of being still, don't be afraid of allowing, don't be afraid of not being in a space only of manifesting and creating and being a doer.
mm,
These transitions are very, very crucial because they maybe
mm,
they're going to give you clarity about what is the next step. Not from a
mm,
space of fear, oh, I'm feeling I have to do something. No, but from a space of I'm allowing my being to show me that now maybe I will change direction, but it will come from a space of knowing. And for that, you need,
mm,
so give yourself time, give yourself space, be patient, be
mm.
trustful. That's what I would say.
Something like a process.
Yes, very much.
And this process is the content.
Yes, yes, yes.
Yeah. Uh, what's the one belief you had to let go of to get here?
That I'm in control.
Okay. Now, uh, s- uh, we've come to the last question, Gilles.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, but I feel like going on listening to you. It's so interesting and it's so different, very unique.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Yeah, looking back at all the lives you've lived in one lifetime, what are you most grateful that the journey didn't skip?
I think the pain, the loneliness,
Mm,
I think I realized that moments of despair actually created a lot of depth. Um, I think I also, it's quite amazing because I feel that I feel moments of, yeah, I realize, and that also, I feel that it happens to me also when sometimes when you want to help someone, you feel that right now the best way is to actually to step back and
mm,
allow them to go through their process. Like we say also, no, like as a parent, when your child falls, if each time you come, oh, you don't allow that child to find the strength to stand up on his own, he will never walk. So I think
Yeah.
I realized at these moments where you feel that you're alone and you feel that it's what actually gives you your wings and your power, because you realize that actually all the answers are within. So they were very, very challenging times of not understanding what's happening and not having the tools maybe to decode what's happening. And then it's I think it's just about, I think, your intent. Like suddenly you again, I would say again, if you are in a space of trust and surrender, that I'm okay, I'm taken care of, and therefore the light will appear at the end of the tunnel. But you need to be through that tunnel again. As I said, you need to be into these phases where doubts and uncertainty are within you, because it's also the time where you are asking questions, looking at yourself,
Mm.
and it's how I feel. Like right now, I feel I'm in such a phase where I feel, because right now with the war and everything is still, all our tours
Mm.
are cancelled or postponed. So again, it feels a bit like COVID again, where you are, for us
Yeah.
as performers, that again, you cannot travel much, and it's more about being at home and connecting to people online. So right now it feels like that. So, but I feel that these moments again are very. I feel like right now also I'm in a space where I don't know, and I'm maybe it's a very rich transition where I'm allowing myself to step back, allow, like I painted again also something maybe over the last 1 month after years. So again, these moments of being in front of the paper, and again I don't plan, so being with the colors, and I felt it was, as most of the time the canvas becomes almost like a mirror. So what comes onto the paper
Mm.
is also showing me something about my own self. So I
Mm.
feel it's like that. I feel right now it's just I think we should be very grateful for these times of when you're forced to slow down, when things are not like
Mm.
just out there and 100% and so fast. But so I am happy that I had many phases like that where I could reflect, slow down, and look at myself from within, truly.
Mm. So something like pausing in the
Yes, very much.
mechanical life, when the life is so
Yeah.
fast,
Yes.
pausing.
Yes, very much.
So much, so many concepts, so many new things. I think, yeah, I'm sure everybody is going to really, really enjoy, and they'll get
Thank you so
lots of
much.
answers.
Thank you. Thank you. It was
Thank you so much,
I'm
Gilles.
always very excited to do such processes, because it's also for me. Also, as I am talking, also I realize things about my own self, because sometimes you don't revisit these spaces. So it's also always very enriching to have someone asking you questions, because you go back into this space, and then you understand yourself better. So I'm very grateful that you asked me to be part of this interview. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Gilles. Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much. I'm
Thank
so
you
very
very much.
grateful to you.
Thank you. Thank you so much.